Come with me.
You're the one that can't look away. That should have been the tagline. So I'm just wrapping up my run through of Netflix's latest entry in the Monster series. That's why we're here on location. It's a green screen, folks. I don't have that kind of budget yet. But you can help by hitting that subscribe button. You know, see how I just slipped it in there at the end there, but never mind. But seriously, hit the button if you haven't already. Go ahead, I'll wait.
You're working too fast.
I'm sorry, Mother.
This one featuring Ed Gein, played phenomenally by Charlie Hunnam, who I thought before watching I would have a hard time seeing through Jax Teller. Even though SOA was many, many years ago, it's still one of those roles that kind of cements itself in your head. But this is a far cry from the badass biker outlaw. I mean, Charlie Hunnam completely loses himself in this role to the point where I had a hard time looking away from the next episode. I mean, really, I had shit to do, but I just couldn't stop. I had to kept seeing what was coming next. Seriously though, the actors who play these roles, I hope there's some measure of therapy that comes with these portrayals. Now this is Netflix after all. I'm sure there were a few details left out and even more that we're not aware of unless you've taken a deep dive into Ed Gein and his documentary series. There are countless of them online, but still, the amount of detail is staggering here. From the costumes, the sets, it was all filmed in Momence, Illinois, which is not that far away from Plainfield, Wisconsin. I'm willing to bet that they approached the town to see if they could film in the actual location, but who can blame them for probably turning it away and not wanting to relive any part of that horror, because this entire series is completely enveloping. Just goes to show that the morbid fascination with these kinds of individuals hasn't dimmed in the slightest. Why are we drawn to such madness? I guess it's partly due to the curiosity of what humans are really capable of. As is mentioned by Adeline, played by Susanna Son, Ed Gein's love interest, I suppose, something along the lines of, if humans are capable of it, it's fascinating. And who am I to judge what love is? Candles and flowers, or graves and bodies? It's all the same, I guess. I mean, we all love the Addams Family, right? But hell, if we're talking about crazies here, we can't not mention Adeline at least a bit more, because even if half the facts are true, then she is just as cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs as Gein was. And a quick disclaimer, this video is not sponsored by General Mills. And I will say too, there are indeed some elements throughout the series that are, let's just say, daring to the creators for the time we live in, and bravo for navigating that minefield. If you're paying attention to any kind of current events, then you should be able to extrapolate from that. The time jumps are a little stirring before you understand exactly what's going on. All the influences that Ed Gein had on the world, mainly expressed in cinema here. These are some pretty solid recreations of famous scenes in film sets. When they broke out to the Texas Chainsaw scene, I had to look twice before I noticed it was a genuine recreation. And showing the parallels of influence here, it really gives you a sense of not only the creative willingness these people took, but the risks that they had to take as well in bringing these characters to life. From Norman Bates to Leatherface and Buffalo Bill from Silence of the Lambs, these roles really took a toll on the people that were portraying them, as well as the creators of the films themselves, all willing to take a tour through the madness of the mind that was Ed Gein. And another note of what this series did, for me at least, was it really lifted the veil of fiction of the movies that I had mentioned before, from Psycho, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and Silence of the Lambs. I think myself and others as well had the luxury growing up of thinking these were just fictitious movies. You always remind yourself, it's just a movie. You don't have to be scared. Nothing's real here. Spoiler alert, there was more real elements in those films than we knew before. And coming out of watching this series on Netflix just now, it really brought a visceral terror back to those films. So in a sense, it makes them a little more real from now on. When next time you watch these films and you look back and go, where these were all inspired from. Yeah, the luxury of saying it's only a movie is no longer anymore. None more so here than Charlie Hunnam, who, I can't say it enough, completely blew me away. I saw in a recent interview he did about his experience, he's quite the professional, if I must say. I'm sure he's going through his own thing off camera. You don't come out of this with no effect on you at all. Saying that he went to visit Gein's grave after it was all done, basically to give closure to the story. I mean, at the end of it all, for me, I had only one reaction.
Holy shit, dude.
And I will say this, though, you really have to be willing to take a walk through hell if you're going to watch this. It's not the kind of thing that you can just put on for background noise while you're doing chores. And if I'm being honest, you almost feel sorry for Gein in a way, at least from the way it's told here. You know, he's a guy who was abused, shamed, and viewed as odd at best around town, but still managed to convince people he was this harmless loner who didn't really know how to interact with people, which ultimately led to what we see here. In the end, I would have to say it is definitely an enveloping experience. There's the word I'm looking for. It is definitely an experience. So if you haven't seen it yet and you're getting ready to, fair warning, be ready for a little bit of a shakeup. Folks, thank you all for tuning in. I can't say it enough in every video, and I'm going to continue to do so, how much I appreciate all of your support just for tuning in, and it would help a lot more if those of you who haven't yet, once again, hit that subscribe button. Help support the channel and help us grow here. Also, one last note before we end this video, October 25th at 8:15, we will be having our first live stream event. It'll be of Night of the Living Dead, so I hope you'll join us for some scary movie fun, and as always, folks, I will see you on the other side.